Hey everyone, what is up? You are watching Super Nintendo Collection Quest, where I go over my recent Super Nintendo game pickups, play through it a little bit, do a quick review, see if it's a game I'd like to come back to, and you have a chance to win a free game for the system of your choice. As a kid, I loved my NES, but when I got my Super Nintendo, that was it. Great graphics, sound, and gameplay. I was hooked. Some of my fondest gaming memories are from playing some of the greatest RPG, adventure, action platformer, and multiplayer games on the SNES. It's my goal to own every North American Super Nintendo game released, so follow me on my quest to Super Nintendo completion. Alright, so this month I picked up number 672 in my collection, RenStimpy Show Buckaroos. The RenStimpy Show Buckaroos is one of 4 RenStimpy games released on the Super Nintendo. The game is a side-scrolling 2D platformer with some humorous animation. As the story goes, Stimpy has invented a machine that pays you to play video games. Man, wouldn't that be a sweet gig? Now, the music in this game is pretty lackluster, and the game kind of falls flat in the gameplay department as well. The platforming felt tedious and unforgiving in certain spots. But if you put enough time into memorizing the levels, it does make things a bit easier, although I find it's still missing that feel-good factor that I like to see from a good platformer. Things like a solid physics engine or more rewarding sound effects when you pick up cash and items. I do like that the game is based off of the episodes of the show though, so for a Ren and Stimpy fan, it might be worth giving it a shot, as long as you don't mind a very basic platformer. There is a password feature, so you can resume your progress. It's the type of game I could play through a few levels, grab my password, and then come back to it later. So now I've finally got all 4 Ren and Stimpy games on the Super Nintendo, and speaking of basic platformers, that brings me to my next game. I got number 673, Snow White in Happily Ever After. Snow White in Happily Ever After is not actually a Disney game. It's based on the Filmation movie Happily Ever After. This is, as I've hinted, a very basic platformer. You can play as either Snow White or Shadow Man, who is actually the cursed Prince Charming. So during gameplay, you'll jump on top of or use apples to defeat enemies. Hearts act as your health. Getting hit or falling into a pit will subtract 1 heart, and you'll actually collect quite a few of these, making it very difficult to get a game over. There aren't any end-of-level bosses to defeat aside from the final dragon boss. If you're careful, you should be able to beat it in under an hour. I actually kind of enjoyed this game. The levels are non-linear, so you have to search for the exit once it appears. There are lots of secret blocks, although sometimes this can be a bit annoying when you hit something you didn't expect. If you go into the options menu, you'll be able to start at any of the stages, so if you need to take a break, you can just start on the level where you left off. If you're looking for a basic platformer that you can get through rather quickly, Happily Ever After might be just right for you. Number 674, Super Ninja Boy. Alright, so Super Ninja Boy was really not like anything I was expecting. When you start the game, you'll see an overworld map, which will take you to the first village. Now, some of the translation here is a bit questionable, but honestly I just think it adds a layer of unintended humor to the game. At first I was thinking this feels a lot like an older 8-bit RPG, but then I got into my first random encounter, where the battles play out as a side-scrolling brawler in similar fashion to River City Ransom. Only there's a bit more lag here, it's a little clunky, but by defeating enemies you'll gain experience points, level up, and get stronger. Of course, you can head back to town to upgrade your equipment and get a password to resume your progress. When you're defeated, you'll appear back at the most recent convenience store that you've visited with a bit less money. There are also areas in the game where you'll play as a side-scrolling action platforming sequence. if that weren't enough, you'll play boss battles as a turn-based RPG. Now, as you might expect, a game that mixes all of these different elements together doesn't really do any one of them very well, but it's still a fun game to play through and certainly makes for a very unique experience. One of my favorite features about this game, though, is the ability to play co-op with a second player. Definitely going to come back and play this again later. Number 675, Relief Pitcher. Relief Pitcher, as you might expect, is a baseball game. The game does look okay from a screenshot. Unfortunately, the game suffers from low frame rate and clunky gameplay. It doesn't use licensed teams, but it does offer commentary from famous announcer Jack Buck. When it comes to baseball games on the Super Nintendo, though, you can really do a lot better than Relief Pitcher, unfortunately. And finally, number 676, Sparkster. Sparkster is a Konami game I've somehow never played before. As usual, Konami did an excellent job on the 16-bit platformer. The sound and graphics are great, play control is on point, you've got your standard attack and a lunge attack if you hold down the button and release. The lunge attack is useful for reaching up higher areas and busting through enemy armor, plus it just kind of adds a unique feel to the game. There's a little bit of a strategy element too with the lunging, and it just really adds a little bit extra speed to the game too. The bosses are big and very satisfying to take down. And yeah, like I said, the gameplay is really fast. It kind of reminds me of an early Sonic game, but with a very unique set of moves. Also, the game features a password system so you can resume your progress. Definitely going to come back and play through this later. Alright guys, so that is it. I picked up 5 new games to add to my North American Super Nintendo collection. I'm now up to 676 games and have just 47 more to go for the complete North American collection. Alright, so let's get on to the game giveaway. So this month's winner for the random free game for the system of your choice is Charlie Ocho. Congratulations. I believe you were picked like over a year ago, so I guess congratulations on being picked again. It is random. I just randomly pick a comment from the comments below. I use random.org. So yeah, if you'd like to enter next giveaway, all you have to do is leave a comment below in this video, and in the next Super Nintendo Collection Quest video, I will pick a random winner. Alright guys, that is it. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'll see you later.